All right, now we're going to talk about setup. Basically, when I'm hitting a lob shot, I set up to it pretty much the same as I do for a normal shot. And there's a lot of ways to do this, but let's talk about what's the easiest maybe, or what I found to be the easiest. So I set up the same way. I'm tilted a little forward, so I'm not going to try to get way back here because I'm trying to get under the ball. That tends to make your club bottom out early. One of the mistakes everybody makes in a lob shot, or trying to hit it high, is you try to force the club under the ball rather than making the loft hit the ball in the air. You're trying to get the mass of the club hit under the ball. And when you do that, you end up hitting way behind it, and you either hit it fat or you blade it. So the setup is the same for any pitch shot. I mean, I stand, my weight goes to my left, so my eyes are even with, not necessarily behind the ball, not for normal shots. Then all I'm going to do is I set up, and now I'm just going to make a swing, and all I'm going to do is let the club, whatever lofts in the club, hit the ball in the air. So the setup is the same as any little pitch shot for a normal lob shot. Now I'm going to show you how to use the club. So I'm going to move out here where the grass is really tight, because I want to make a point here. All right. When the club hits the ground, you can either make this shot somewhat easy to hit, or as easy as it can be, or you can make it very difficult relative to a slight miss. So if I set this club up, when I set it up so that the toe of the club is touching the ground, the toe is touching, but the heel isn't. Whether I open the face or square, wherever, but if the toe is touching, I make my swing. Now, if I happen to catch the ground a little early before I get to the ball, and the toe catches, what it does is it slows the toe down, but then it speeds the heel up. Well, when it does this and it speeds the heel up, it opens the face, and it engages the bounce of the club. So now what happens, toe catches, face opens, bounce work, the club slides. So even if I hit this one, so if I hit it a little fat, so if I hit a little behind this ball, but the toe hits first, see, I still hit a pretty good shot. Now I hit 2 or 3 inches behind that ball. Now, if I do the same thing, and I open the face, but I set the club face square, or I set it with the heel touching, and I do exactly the same thing, what's going to happen now when the heel catches, see, it catches in the ground, and now I chunked it, because when the heel catches, this leading edge catches, and what happens is it stops the club and grabs it like this. Now you're either going to chunk it, or it'll speed the toe up, and you'll hit it a lot further than you wanted it to go. So when I set up to hit all of my lob shots for me, when I set up with my hands a little higher, and I'm trying to make the toe of the club touch the ground first. So if I hit the ball perfect, I'm okay, but if I hit a little behind it, the toe hits the ground first, opens the face, and slides the face. So I'm going to do it again here. So my hands are a little higher. The toe's touching, the heel isn't. I'm going to let the toe of the club brush the ground. When the toe of the club hit the ground, it slowed the toe down, opened the face, and the club slid along the grass. So that's a huge safety factor to be able to have it hit and still hit a good shot. So for me, this is once I figured out how to use the toe of the club, I can be really radical with this. So I could, if I wanted a maximum lob one, I mean really hit one straight up in the air and be fairly safe with it, what would I do? Well, I'd move the ball a little forward, I'd open the face, I'd put the toe up, and now I'm going to make a swing and run the toe into the ground. Now I can make a pretty hard swing, and that ball will hardly go anywhere. Now I could just barely pop that over something. You know, so and no matter where the club hits, see, even that, when the toe grabbed, it opened, it slid through. So I can hit them almost straight up in the air. And it's a pretty big safety factor using the toe of the club.